This is the Business of Leadership Series Minute with your host, the best-selling author of Don't Buy a Duck and founder of MarketingStrategyHero.com, Derek Champagne.
San Francisco-based Alden Mills began taking control of his life at age 12. His first goal was to conquer the asthma, and then he went on to achieve extraordinary things. In the freshman and varsity teams at the U.S. Naval Academy, a Navy SEAL, led his platoon through multiple missions. He ended up founding Perfect Fitness and led it to grow over 12,000. That is not a typo. 12,000% annual sales of $90 million. There's so much more, but I want to get to our conversation. So, Alden, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Derek, it's an honor to be here, and I love what you're doing.
I want to ask you about the whisper and the whiner.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about those? That really resonated with me, with quite a few of us in the group hearing that. Can you talk about that for just a minute?
So what Derek is referring to is a specific story that we were told, and I say we, that were the candidates of Class 181, and I use a Southern accent because this gentleman had a deep Southern accent. And he was the lead instructor of the first phase of Navy SEAL training. And he gave us a conversation right before we took our final physical training test to class up and officially start SEAL training. And at the end of the day, what he does is he says, "Do you know what my job is?" And he takes his finger and he points to his head. And he says, "My job is to create a conversation between here," his head, and then he moves it down over his heart, "and here, a conversation that's going to drive you to make a decision." And he points to a brass bell, and he says, "To either ring the bell," that means to quit, "or to stand on this here platform," and he's talking about a graduation platform, "9 months from now." And I use that story often, not all the time, but I use it a lot with entrepreneurs and many times with up-and-coming leaders, folks that have just taken over new divisions, new units, mid-level managers, all the way up to senior leaders, because at the end of the day, one of the most critical things you can do as a leader is to teach people what to focus on and how to lead the conversation. You see, the conversation that he's talking about is what I call, and we talk an entire chapter about it in the book, between the whiner, and I'm pointing to my head right now, and the whisperer. And that would be your heart. Another way of looking at it, this mental and emotional conflict that constantly goes on inside of us. The whiner knows what it knows. It loves looking in the rearview mirror. It loves questioning, why should I get out of the comfort zone, right? But the whiner talks with a more, in my mind, it talks with a higher pitch. "Do you know how hard this is going to be? Who do you know's done this? What are you doing? You know, this is not going to make enough money, or this isn't going to be this or that, or blah, 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 blah," right? Constantly looking for reasons to keep you in the comfort zone. Now, you can't really fault the whiner. You see, the whiner, we were all born with a whiner. That's called our survival trait. And the whiner is just trying to help us survive. Now, it's a 3 million year plus trait that we all have. But then the whisperer is much quieter. The whisperer will say, "Get up, try again. You can do this." But it's very hard to hear the whisperer.
Derek Champagne here. I want to connect with you if you're listening to the Business Leadership Series. We can connect on LinkedIn or send me a message at derek@derekchampagne.com. I look forward to connecting.